I've not been able to cover everything that I would like to in this video, so please get in touch. Video responses or
Jen, from Those Pesky Dames on YouTube, made a video about slut shaming. I want to point out before this video even gets started that while men do care to a degree about a woman's sex life, slut shaming is almost exclusively done by women. A man might want to know if a woman has had a lot of partners because this would indicate his chances of scoring sex, his chances of scoring a disease, and whether or not this woman makes for a good long-term partner. After all, a woman who behaves recklessly and has sex with practically every guy she meets and can't seem to stick with any one guy, is not very likely to make a long-term girlfriend, a good wife, or a good mother. Heterosexual women, on the other hand, will not be marrying or sleeping with other women, so what possible business is it of theirs what another woman's sex life is like? Women hate sluts because they are competition. It's economics really. If men are begging for sex and women withholding, their sex has value. If some slut is giving it away for free, the other women just lost their bargaining power because the value of a woman's sex goes down due to supply and demand. Imagine if men wanted apples very much. A neighborhood could have 10 stores selling apples at $10 a piece. But what would happen if a new store opened up and sold apples for only $1 a piece? Doing so would immediately drive down the price of apples, and now all the stores make less money. This would outrage the other store owners the moment the new store offered apples for only $1. Even on social networking sites you will see some girls really wearing skimpy outfits and showing it off, and those profiles will have high viewership. This outrages other women because it forces them to pose in more revealing outfits in order to maintain male attention. Women hate competition and will viciously lash out at any woman that threatens her personal power over males. Again, women have great power over men. That power is called sex, and thus a woman has automatic value because she is the dispenser of sex, and any woman who is more freely dispensing sex is a threat because it lowers her power and value. And this is why slut shaming has and always will be a thing that women do to women.
Hi, I'm Daisy. Daisy, you should be ashamed of yourself. You're a slut. Yeah, whatever, Peach. You're a frickin' whore and you know it.
Hello viewers. This week on Those Pesky Dames we're going to be talking about slut shaming, which is a topic so huge that I can't say everything I'd like to. Before we begin, this brings up some potentially triggering issues, so I'd like to issue a trigger warning for this video before I start.
A trigger warning. I am of the firm opinion that if you are so emotionally or mentally unstable that you must be issued some trigger warning to keep you from losing your mind, hurting yourself or others, you are more suited to be in a straitjacket or under parental care. I am also of the opinion if you talk to your audience and issue a trigger warning, you are acknowledging that your audience is made up of mentally ill people. At any rate, let's get on with it.
Slut walk happened because of the ridiculous comments of one Toronto police officer, Michael Sanguinetti. He said that women should avoid dressing like sluts in order not to be victimized. This implies that if you dress provocatively or like a slut, then you deserve everything that's coming to you, that you're asking for it.
No, it doesn't. His words never meant that, and anyone with intelligence understands this. At no point in time did that officer state that if you dress in a sexy way, you deserve to be raped. He merely meant that dressing casual, among other things such as not getting drunk around strangers without a friend present, and not walking alone through a neighborhood at night, not passing out drunk in an alley at night, and avoid flashing your tits to a group of dangerous thugs, and other such common sense shit will reduce your chances of getting raped. This is not victim blaming, it is not a promotion of rape culture, or any other such nonsense. It is no different than telling a person if they want to reduce their chances of getting burglarized, they should leave a light on in the house, a porch light as well, and to lock all windows and doors, and if possible, install a security system, and not to post on social media that you are going on a long vacation and leaving your house unattended. Giving homeowners these tips is not an act of victim blaming. Those who attended Slut Walk held signs that read "Don't tell women not to get raped, tell men to stop raping." There should have included people holding signs saying "Don't tell homeowners not to get burglarized, tell people to stop burglarizing."
Aside from his comments being victim blaming and slut shaming, they represent a myth that we have in society about rape. That rape is something which only happens to women who are slutty or who are asking for it.
I have never heard that myth in all my life.
I'm going to give you some facts about rape, which are inevitably heartbreaking, but unless we begin to acknowledge these facts and talk about them, we're never going to dispel the idea that rape happens to women who are sluts. UCLA researchers found that 54% of teenage boys thought it was acceptable to to rape a woman if she led him on. So don't tell me that we don't need to keep pointing out that rape is a bad thing, because clearly not everybody knows it is. 9 out of 10 rape victims are women, and women of colour are more likely to be raped than white women. 2/3 of rapes are committed by somebody the victim knows. Nearly 1/3 of people in the UK think that a woman is partially or totally responsible for her rape if she was drunk. Drunken consent is not consent. 1/3 of people in the UK believe that a woman is partially or totally responsible for her own rape if she was flirting. Flirting is not consent.
Aside from the stats at RAIN.org, which were the stats that said colored women get raped more, and most women get raped by people they know, the other stats I cannot verify. UCLA, for example, has done this study many times and produced many different numbers. Unfortunately, the actual questions and criteria for rape are not mentioned in these studies. You claim a study said 54% of men thought it was okay to rape a woman if she led him on. I don't even have to know what the criteria and question was in order to know that is pure bullshit. I invite you, or anyone watching this video, to walk up to men in the real world and ask them this simple question. Is it okay to physically hold down and rape a woman if she was flirting with you earlier? And you tell me what percentage of men answer yes to that. So how do these studies generate such shocking numbers? Simple. They ask questions like, you were making out with your girlfriend and get bold enough to touch her breasts. She doesn't object at all. You then get bold and touch her between the legs. She moves your hand away and continues to kiss you. Do you get more persistent and try again a few minutes later? When 54% answer yes, they are considered rapist. And since you said drunken consent is not consent, that makes me wonder how many women watching this video are rapists. Well, ladies, how many of you have had sex with your boyfriend after he has had a few beers? I guess that makes you a rapist. Feminist classes, often called women's studies, are filled with surveys like this that are specifically generated to produce alarming statistics that make women look like victims and all men as victimizers or potential victimizers. Other college statistics of this nature come out of psychology classes, that of a feminist who wants to get a grade, get her name out there, and promote man-bashing, and thus conducts these sorts of bullshit surveys, and absolutely dare the professor to give her a low grade, because she knows that she can sick women's pressure groups on the school and have him fired for oppressing women and being a rape apologist, etc.
Calling someone a slut has really serious implications. It's something that's used not just to insult women, but to devalue them as well. So if a woman is seen as a total slut, then it's okay to pester her for sex, to sexually assault her, to harass her, to rape her. After all, she's just a stupid slut who was asking for it, right?
Your assertion that women calling women sluts makes them get raped. This is far more ridiculous than the statement women should avoid dressing like sluts in order to avoid being raped. You are effectively saying women should avoid calling women sluts in order to avoid getting that woman raped. So you don't believe that sexually provocative clothing leads men to pursue sex, but having a reputation as a slut does? I must also point out that taking an interest in a woman, pursuing her for sex, is not the same thing as rape, no matter how much you feminists want to say it is. I could equally make the argument that calling men nerds, geeks, losers, creeps, and creepers devalues and dehumanizes them and encourages people to discriminate against them and beat them up. So ladies, next time you call some guy a creep, remember that you are provoking others to physically assault him. At the end of the day, it is never a good idea to make derogatory statements to a person, but at the same time, being given a derogatory label has never justified someone to do harm to them. It might have been the excuse of a bully or rapist, but it is never their genuine motive, nor has society or courts ever accepted those reasons. But again, I just want to point out that your statement could just as easily be interpreted the way Michael Sanguinetti's words were interpreted. How would you like a feminist group to start marches protesting your words and demonizing you, and costing you your career? After all, it's what you proudly did to him.
But female sexuality still remains as a bad thing in our society. Controlling women's sexuality is a way of controlling women.
Actually, the same could be said for men. Males are not free to catcall a woman, flirt with a woman, talk to a woman, or even look at a woman. You yourself said so in another video.
If you think I'm taking away your right to talk to pretty girls on the street, well, firstly, you don't have a right to accost strangers on the street and tell them what you think of their appearance. And secondly, there's a really valuable article in the description bar written by a guy for guys explaining why approaching women in public is not something to be taken lightly. My body isn't public property, nor is anybody else's. So you don't have a right to comment on it, and you don't have a right to leer or stare at me. You don't have a right to stop me and demand I talk to you. You don't have a right to my time.
Males don't have the right to talk to you, to look at you. Males have no right to your precious time.
Well, excuse me, princess.
You demonize male sexuality. You seem incapable of separating healthy normal flirtation from rape, sexual assault, and rape threats. You demonize and shame male sexuality, controlling male sexuality as a way of controlling males. And in another video you say this.
So your feelings are hurt because you just got told that you're not as overpoweringly irresistible as you thought you were. So you call her frigid, and you tell her she's uptight, and you tell her that she's stuck up, and she gets upset because she thinks that you're going to break up with her and you've just said these really hurtful, cruel things to her, and she says, yeah, you're okay, no, you're right, it's fine, it's okay, I don't care, let's have sex. Do you really think that she has truly consented, freely and under no pressure, to have sex with you? Or do you think that you have bullied her and coerced her and manipulated her into doing something she didn't really want to do? Because that is rape, and that is the true danger of prude shaming, that people use it to rape other people.
Nagging your girlfriend for sex is now rape. We went from having sex with a woman that has had a few drinks as rape, to nagging her is now rape. No wonder you feminists think you live in a rape culture. You have defined anything and everything as rape. Jen, you claim that this slut shaming is not only a promotion of rape, but also that prude shaming is all about controlling women by controlling their sexuality, and yet it is you and your fellow feminists that are attempting to control, abuse and criminalize males by controlling their sexuality. It is wrong for a man to ask for sex, to nag for sex, to want sex or even think about sex. You interpret everything a man does as a form of abuse, harassment or rape. You've engineered a system of beliefs where every woman is a victim of everything and every man is a victimizer of everything. And when males get fed up with this assault on their existence and stand up for themselves, you feminists turn around and claim males are attempting to silence you for being a woman with an opinion. Patriarchy, patriarchy, patriarchy. You demonize heterosexual males, but then play the damsel in distress and expect males to white knight and run to your rescue when those demonized males stand up for their basic rights as human beings. You feminists create hostile work environments that get males fired when a feminist overhears a private joke that offends her, and feminists think getting that male fired is girl power. Yet there is a wife and daughters who relied on that evil male to provide them with food, clothing and shelter, and now he can't because feminists cost him his job. And then that wife and those daughters hear this horse shit about male-dominated this, rape culture that, sexism here, glass ceiling there, and patriarchy everywhere. And then you feminists wonder why so many females young and old are turning their backs on feminism.
I feel so horrible.
Oh, honey, what's wrong?
I've been raped.
Oh dear, I am sorry to hear that. I too have been raped by some patriarchal bastard on the way to work. He looked at me, then he told me I had nice legs.
No, not that kind of rape, real rape.
Oh, you mean your boyfriend nagged you into sex when you weren't ready?
No. Damn it. I am talking about actual rape.
You mean some jerk at a party said yes to your offer of sex, even after you had a few beers?
I'm talking about physical rape.
Oh, good heavens, you don't mean some drunk guy at the club caught a feel of your bum before the bouncer tossed him out?
No. You stupid git, I am talking about being hit, thrown to the ground, my clothing ripped from my body, being held down, and told not to make a sound or he'd cut me.
Oh my. I'm sorry to hear that. I know how you feel. I have experienced rape on several occasions. My first was when I was only 19. I was at a party, I had a couple of drinks, I tried to sleep with every guy at the party, they all turned me down. But this one guy who was overweight and pimple-faced, when I showed him my tits and pounced on him, he didn't say no. He didn't object at all even though I was drunk. And he let me get on top of him and ride him like a bull. The bastard made no effort to stop me at any point. And afterward, after he shot his wad, he told me that I was his first, and that he was so in love with me, and wanted to go steady. I was so drunk I said yes. The next morning, I woke up feeling so violated. I called the cops and promptly had him arrested. Those evil male cops asked me all sorts of questions instead of just taking my word for it. Typical rape culture stuff. But when all was over, he was found guilty. So I too know your pain.
Get away from me, Just get away, you stupid feminist.